Alright, welcome to Disclosure TV, everybody. I'm gonna go live, I guess. I don't know if it's working or not. It may be. It doesn't seem to be. Let's give her a little refresh. There we go. It's not working the best, but you know what? We'll deal with it. Okay? We'll deal with it. So we're gonna watch a video here in just a second about what happened at the Indigenous Peoples March on Saturday, January 19th. A lot of people are upset over this video, and just like a lot of people, they're always upset over something the media shows, because I guess they just like being upset all the time. I mean, there's a good video to watch, or a good TV show to watch, and I'm not trying to plug a TV show or anything like that, but if you watch episode 7, I think it's episode 7 of the Orville, that will tell you a lot about what social justice and or democracy has turned into, and it freaked me out a little. I mean, not a little, but a lot. It freaked me out a lot. So we're going to watch this video, and this video, I'll tell you a little bit about it. What it is it's a Catholic high school. It's Indigenous Peoples Day in Washington, D.C. They were having marches. They were having speeches representing different cultures of Indigenous people. They were at the time, I guess it was a peaceful demonstration, and I have the video. I'm sure you've seen most of it online, the video or in the news. Those videos have been edited to show only one part, and to me, it's a typical example of the media, or the liberal media, twisting everything into whatever they can to get a news story out of it, or twisting situations into where a political agenda can come out of it, a liberal political agenda, such as gun control, or how they twist everything into everything to get a certain type of legislation picked that they want picked. Most of the time, this is an actual thing that the media does. It's called activism. If you don't know what activism is, look it up. I can tell you. Let me switch over to my other screen, and I'll show you what activism is. So, let's go to Wikipedia, and I'll show you what it is. Activism consists of efforts to promote, impede, direct, or intervene in social, political, economic, or environmental reform with the desire to make changes in society. Forms of activism range from writing letters to newspapers, petitioning elected officials, running or contributing to a political campaign, preferential patronage or boycott of a business, or demonstrative forms of activism like rallies. So, let me look this up again, because there's one thing in particular that I want you to look at, that I've already looked at, And that's not it. And what it's, and the media does use these types of tactics. They actually hire psychologists in order to get their word out, or change you into doing something. So let's watch this video and get back, and we'll get back to talking. So I'm gonna let you watch this video and let me know what you think is happening. And remember, this is the same video, but with the rest of the video in the front part. The media has cut out the other part of it, which you're getting ready to see in just a second. As you can see, these people, all these kids were in a group. These Native Americans come to them, and that Native American walked up to that guy. These guys are all wearing MAGA hats, and he is just standing there doing nothing. Yes, the kids in the background are, I guess they're having a good time. They don't know what to do. They've never experienced anything like this, I'm going to say, and I'm not taking up for them. But this is the part that they want to see. People have a problem with this, and the high school group was just standing there, and the Native Americans walked up to them. I guess, I don't know if they were there on a rally or if they were, what they were there for. I'm not sure. It is a Catholic high school out of Covington, Kentucky. I'm sure when they were all there on a school trip.
You guys are acting like a mob. That's what's going on.
But apparently this Native American is just he's not liking this dude right here. For some reason, he's looking at him like he's a high school kid, or not like he's a high school kid, but like he's confronting a kid. And this is the actual part that the media is twisting around, because they're not showing the whole video at all. And it's just, I don't know what they're doing. And they were all, this school was standing all in a crowd by themselves. They didn't approach the Native Americans. They were wearing MAGA hats, and they were approached by them. They were all approached by them. And that's the video. So, what do you all think about it? Do you all think the media is twisting this out of proportion? Do you think that do you think that, or do you think, are you convinced that the high school kids were in the wrong? Or was I don't think it's about anything being right, anybody being right or wrong. I don't think that at all. I think the media has twisted it out. Now, as far as the kids themselves, they're teenagers, they're kids. Treat them as such. They probably came there on a field trip. I'm just speculation at this point. I don't know why they're there. But evidently their teacher or their school brought them there for a reason. Whatever reason that was. And as you're seeing on your screen, the teen that's in the video that's more focused on, he issued a statement. And I'll show you right here, like globalnews.ca. I don't know who that is. That might be what .ca. So just like all the videos from the mainstream media, what you're going to see is this partial video. And that's what you're going to see.
Now viral video denies mocking the Native American Vietnam veteran.
And that's what the media has.
He says video of the incident was misinterpreted and that he and his fellow classmates were.
And this is what you're seeing, and they're just showing parts of a video and not all of it.
Shows the students, many wearing President Trump's "Make America Great."
And I'm pretty sure that the Native American walked over to them because they were wearing those hats. They were in D.C.
attending an anti-abortion rally.
Our boys were targeted. They were targeted from the get-go. Immediately,
and
there were
just as this lady right here saying they were targeted.
Chaperones for the students say
I'm not saying she's not saying that they were there on purpose and targeted on purpose, nothing like that, like it was pre-set up.
No violence. They did not attack.
It was more like they saw them standing there and with a MAGA hats on, and they approached them on purpose.
The two groups hoping to diffuse the situation.
I just wanted to go out and look at my American country and see what's happening.
Nathan Phillips, he's actually an actor. He's a Native American, but he's an actor, actually.
Motionless and calm, I was helping to diffuse the situation. I said a silent prayer that the situation would not get out of hand. Salmon says since the video went viral, he's received death threats.
And, you know, and the Native Americans spoke out, too, against all this. Well, he's not saying anything good about it. He's saying that it's bad. The other parents, like you just saw, they're saying that it was all it was the MAGA, the high schoolers' fault. And so here's my opinion and my take of all that. So my opinion and take of all that is that the media is blowing this out of proportion just like they always do. They're twisting it. They're turning it into all the crap that happened. So take, for instance, all the crap that happens on Twitter. Somebody says something, it blows up, and usually it's the liberal media or the liberal people that have a problem with it. And I could care less if you're liberal or you're Democrat or you're Republican. Right is right and wrong is wrong, no matter how you look at it. But the liberal media tends to look at things and twist things around. They will take your words and twist them into, just like people on Twitter. People on Twitter take your words and twist them into what they want it to be, what they want it to mean, not what you're actually saying. And this is one of those times. So this goes back to what I was talking about what activism is. Here's an article from Wikipedia about media manipulation. So these are types of media manipulation that the media strategies, tactics that they use to manipulate people. They actually spend, a company spend millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars trying to figure out what people like, how they are, and they use their own weakest points about themselves against them. Like they use, if you say you like a certain color or something like that, they use that against you. So here's one right here. It's called activism, just like I was talking about. Activism is the practice or doctrine that has an emphasis on direct, vigorous action, especially supporting or opposing one side of a controversial matter. It is quite simply starting a movement to affect or change social views. It is frequently started by influential individuals, but is done collectively through social movements with large masses. These social movements can be done through public rallies, strikes, street marches, and even rants on social media. A large social movement that has changed public opinion through the time would be the Civil Rights March on Washington. So, but what the mainstream media has done is they cover these rallies and they cover these marches, and they record what they want to that goes in favor of their view. So if it's bad, if it's good for their side, they'll record the good side. But if it's bad against them, they'll record the bad parts of it and then put it as a negative view, just like CNN does, just like Fox News does. So CNN records one different type of aspect of what's going on. Fox News records the other. ABC News, NBC, they all do it. They all manipulate the media, or they all manipulate the people. All of us, they try to. There's other tactics they use. Hoaxes. They actually took hoaxes. What this article tells you what hoaxes are. A hoax is something intended to deceive or defraud. When a newspaper or news reports a fake story, it is known as a hoax. Misleading public stunts, scientific frauds, false bomb threats, and business scams as hoaxes. So what they've done, and hoaxes do work in the media, but at the same time, they've rewritten a hoax in order to, I guess it's like a reverse hoax psychology type of thing. They do a hoax, but they write the hoax in such a way that it seems like somebody else is doing something wrong when they really aren't. And it's stated right here, the microwave in a spoon. A popular hoax that is evident in today's times will be the microwave your spoon hoax. The hoax originated from the video, which shows a metallic spoon being heated inside a microwave, and then further on suggests that it's easier to eat ice cream when the spoon is first microwaved. This hoax has fooled many people on social media into believing that a spoon could be microwaved, only to find that their microwaves was damaged. The point of the hoax was to show how gullible people can be on social media and prove that not everything you read or see on the internet is true. So how could they take that and turn it into how can they write a hoax like that? People are like, well, people are not falling for those things hardly anymore, unless, I guess they are. You've got people eating Tide Pods and people walking around trying to drive cars with blindfolds on. I don't know, but that's stupid. But however, they're taking those fake hoaxes and developing them in such a way that it makes the subject matter, whoever or whatever is in the subject matter of the hoax, makes it look has a negative impact on them. So yes, it may be a hoax, and you're like, oh, that is a hoax, but then at the same time, they use it to make you think. They use it to change your view on whatever the subject matter is. It could be a business. It could be a certain something that happened out in public, such as this. It could be such as the video that you just watched. It could be that they could use a hoax in any way, shape, or form. And I'd like to. I'm just going to call it a reverse hoax. So they use psychological warfare, public relations. Public relations is the management of flow of information between an individual or organization. And a few of these, I don't know why the Hebrew guy was there. It says Hebrew Israelites. I don't know what that is. It says in this article, it is difficult to piece together the exact timeline of events, but a nearly 2-hour video seems to help add some context to the situation. Before the incident between the high school student and the indigenous activist happened, the video shows men from the Hebrew Israelites, a group that believes African Americans are descendants of the Hebrews from the Bible, yelling at many passerby at the event. Shar Yakwataz, I don't know that name, one of the Hebrew Israelites at the event, denied in a Facebook video that this group had been instigators, and they weren't. But you're not being shown that part. Just like I said, you're not being shown the part where they're not instigators. You're being shown the part where they are instigating. Most of the media has become or has developed this demo liberal view on everything, and everybody's an activist nowadays. Everybody. And they don't listen to anybody. It's like, I'm going to go back to Twitter because Twitter's kind of started all this. All right, so you have all this stuff going on in Twitter. Somebody says something, and then you have somebody says something wrong, or somebody has a statement. Somebody tweets out something that they like, this, that, and the other, and then you have another person that comes out and says, well, why do you like this, that, and the other? That's discrimination. That's racism. When that person wasn't even trying to be any of that. And 9 times out of 10, the person that wrote the thing has no idea what they're talking about. So then at that point in time, that person who made the comment, you have all these other liberal media, liberal democratic people that are, and the reason I say liberal democratic is because they've almost become one thing, and that's almost factual. I mean, it's come close. I mean, the Democrats, the liberals and the Democrats are almost one thing, and so and then what happens is all those people join in. Well, it just so happens that the majority of young people, the majority of human beings in the United States are around the age of 30 to 35, 40. And it just so happens that they are majority of people, the majority of people in the United States right now are millennials. They claim to be liberal activists. They fight for equality. And they do all that, but when they do all that, they end up causing violence and even more violence. And just like you can maybe point out a group that probably started out being a liberal group, and all of a sudden they became violent. And it's nobody, and this is how liberal being liberal has gotten nowadays. And it's even worse than what it used to be. Antifa, a political protest movement compromising of autonomous groups affiliated by their militant opposition to fascism and other forms of extreme right-wing ideology. If you haven't noticed, on Twitter or on Facebook or on any social media has really changed what people are, how people act, or what people believe. And it's not good because it changed people for the worse. Yes, it gives people opportunity to state their opinions on whatever they want. That's true. But people on social media are very easily manipulated. Very easily. Such as on Twitter, you're only given a certain amount of characters. I think, 60? You're only given 60 characters to explain a thought. Is that enough to explain a thought? So, I mean, what do you all think is going on? You all think that the media twisted this out of proportion? I do have my live chat open, so if you chat, you can. You don't want to. If you don't have to. I only have a few subscribers anyway, but I'm going to keep going. So, like I said, this says, read more. MAGA hat teen says Native American approached him in standoff. And that's true. And nobody believes the little kid. Now, here comes the other part where I want to talk about. So, the kids probably didn't know what to do, and I'm not going to defend the Native American, and I'm not going to defend the MAGA hat people or the kids. But what I am going to do is tell the parents of the kids how freaking stupid they are, and giving kids a MAGA hat, or kids cannot have a political, I'm going to tell you now, kids cannot have a political affiliation because they don't know enough about the government other than what's taught in school. Their brains aren't developed enough to know. Just like all the, yes, and I'm going to call it bullcrap as it is. For you not to give a baby a sex when it's born, and to write an X in its spot and let it decide what gender it is before, because there's a reason there's a reason why you take care of kids for so long. There's a reason why the Bible tells you to take care of kids and, to protect your children and protect your family. Kids, that's, the way social stigma has it is children are the same as adults, and I don't believe that whatsoever. You don't have a say-so like adults do. Social stigma has went as far as children having the same equality as an older person, just like you watched in that video of that kid standing there staring at that guy, staring at the Native American. To me, I just find that disrespectful to me because of the way he's looking at him. And I understand that he don't know what he's supposed to do, but I think the Native Americans wanting him to back off. But the Native American approached him, and just like all these videos shows teens mock Native American on CNN. That's not what happened. Teen in confrontation with Native American elder says he was trying to defuse the situation. He was beating a drum in his face. There was no situation to defuse. They approached him. They were standing back watching the rally. Stevie, teen indigenous protester involved in Safe Face Off, say they were trying to defuse. There probably more. There wasn't anything to defuse. They weren't doing anything. They were just standing there watching. That's it. That's all the video showed. They were standing there watching them do their thing. There was no situation to defuse. So, I mean, what do y'all think? Do y'all think there was a situation to defuse? Were they? I mean, did you all see one in the video? Did you all see something I didn't see? I mean, that's kind of ridiculous to, you know, the point of this, I'm not siding with either or. I think, like I said, I think the parents are to blame for this. Kids shouldn't be wearing MAGA hats. You're a high school kid who basically has nothing on their mind but sex and party. That's it. I mean, come on. Everybody was a kid. To say that it's any different is, to say that that's not correct is just stupid. You're a kid. You're going to make very ignorant decisions. Your brain's not fully developed. Yes, that's why you're going to school, is to develop your brain. That's why you are controlled by your parents. That's why the government says a parent must control you until you are 18. Even at 18 nowadays, even at 18 probably isn't enough. It probably isn't enough. You should probably go until about 20 or 25. Actually, you can be by law, you can be on your parents' insurance while you're going to college, up in your health insurance up until 26 years old. Why that is, I have no idea. It's just a law. So, you know, this whole thing with indigenous people, yeah, you can tell by whatever the news story is, whatever the headline is, you can tell which which news source it's from, just about. You can. And to me, in my opinion, CNN is the worst liberal media I've ever seen in my life. And I'm gonna show you this. A lot of people may know, but it's kind of funny to me. BuzzFeed put out a fake news story 2 days ago. Put out a fake news story. Well, it wasn't a fake news story. It was a an unsubstantiated news story about Trump lying to telling Cohen to lie. So I'm going to show you this, and give me 1 second. Okay, so if you're looking at this, which I hope you are, so BuzzFeed's report stated that Cohen was that Trump had told Cohen to lie to investigators, and that's what it said. Okay, so I'm still back on this Wikipedia page about media manipulation. So what CNN actually did Sorry, I'm sick. I've been sick for like 2 weeks. So what CNN did was they reported on this news story and blew it all over it was on all day long until one of the people, and what's his name, Mueller, came out and said no, that's not true. So CNN reported on it, right? Well, what you don't understand is that is actually the way they stated it. They stated it was unsubstantiated. They had no proof. They themselves had no proof. They were commenting on a news story, but then they turned that news story into actual facts. They tried to turn it into, they used their opinionated panels to turn things into facts. So, I'm going to show you what that's called. So they do it when they say, sorry, when they do that, it's actually a tactic, and so they don't get in trouble and they don't have to recant statements. Sorry, the heat kicked on in here and it is killing my throat. So this is what that tactic, the tactic they used. It's called propaganda laundering. Propaganda laundering is a method of using a less trusted source or less popular platform to publish a story of dubious origin or veracity for the purposes of reporting on that report rather than the story itself. This technique serves to insulate the secondary, more established media from having to issue a retraction if the report is false. Generally, secondary reports will report that the original report is reporting without verifying or making the report themselves, which CNN did. It's a possibility that that report is a plant, or that the BuzzFeed report is a plant, or that they knew the report wouldn't have any sources, so they themselves took it as seized the opportunity to do what they did, which is propaganda laundering. The news and entertainment site BuzzFeed.com has been used to originate several via their BuzzFeed news section. This term was coined by Reddit user Hexy's work regarding a discussion related to investigation by Robert Mueller into Russia collusion, which that wasn't this one. But it just so happens that CNN is the one who's doing it. They do it a lot. If you look under, they even have, the psychological warfare. Psychological warfare is considered synonymous with propaganda. The principal distinction being that propaganda normally occurs within a nation, whereas psychological warfare normally takes place between nations, often during war or Cold War. Which, if you haven't noticed anything, a Cold War has been talked about for about the last 3 or 4 months. A Cold War, about us being in a Cold War with Russia. So, if you'll give me a second, I've got to turn this heat off, man. This crap is killing me. So give me 1 second. Here, watch that video again. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back and I'm gone again, and I'm back and I'm gone and I'm back again. So anyway, based on all the stuff that I've told you, More than likely, that's why I said, that's why my headline is what it is. More than likely, this is the media. Make sure I turn everything back on. Yeah, so more than likely, this is the media using its tactics, its media manipulation, and to turn something into, to turn nothing into something. And just like, and I am from Kentucky. I'm talking to you from Kentucky, so let's see what CNN's video is, shall we? We'll see what their video plays. I bet you their video plays from the same spot that the other ones did.
The Catholic high school student who comes face to face with a Native American elder in a viral video is now responding. In a statement, student Nick Sandman says the viral video does not reflect the true nature of events when the students arrived at the Lincoln Memorial. When we arrived, we noticed 4 African American protesters who were also on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, he said. The protesters said hateful things. Indeed, a small group of black men who identify as Hebrew Israelites did say hateful things to seemingly everyone around them, including a priest.
Let's make America great again. A bunch of child molesting
and the students.
See how you got these pompous bastards come down here in the middle of a native rally with their dirty ass hat on?
When a black visitor tries to stand up against their rhetoric, he faces hate too.
You got all these dirty ass crackers behind you with a red Make America Great hat again on, and your coon ass, you want to fight your brother.
At first, the Catholic students there for the March for Life are still in small numbers, but more and more show up, watching but not engaging. The small group of men continue taunting them.
A bunch of incest babies. A bunch of babies.
Look, all right, so I'm going to pause it right there. So you see the kids standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. In this video, you don't see Native Americans, anybody around them at all. Look at that. There is nobody around them except for themselves. They're all standing on the steps. Now, the video that I showed you is where the Native Americans themselves went to the steps to where they were. I'm just now finding this. You know, you're looking at it just as I found it. So you have all the kids standing there on the steps like that, and that's where all the high school kids were. It looks like that's where they were standing and where they end up. So it is a fact. Now that I'm seeing this, it is a fact that the high school kids were being taunted. They were being taunted, and I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say that the kids reacted in a way. They probably were nervous. They're from Kentucky. We don't have that here. What goes on in other states, we don't have here. We don't have protests here. We don't have activists standing on the street corners every day. We don't have any of that stuff here. They don't know. They're high school kids. They probably barely could afford to go to D.C. They probably barely afforded to go there. Let alone know what was going on. The MAGA hats, however, I do see that people do have a problem with it. Kids do not have a freedom of speech whatsoever. Their freedom of speech comes after they're 18 years old. All their rights do. They do not have rights then. They do not have political affiliations then. And let me tell you something. I don't have kids. I wish I had kids, but I would not let my children have a political affiliation. Let me tell you something about kids being in Washington, D.C. and why they're there to learn. So they're there to learn about their capital and to see about the capital. Most schools do take trips to Washington, D.C. for that purpose. So I'm going to tell you that what I learned in high school and what I learned in school, period, about the government is not what I know now. Everything that I learned in the government in school about the government is total bullshit. Pardon my French. It is. It's a big fat lie. What you learn in school about the government and about what the government is and how it started, I don't know why it is that or why they teach you that. It's a big fat lie. Just like they teach you that Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. He didn't. And I remember in high school us doing a big thing about Thomas Edison. You know, during the times that we were talking about the government, we talked about history a lot in history. And it was total bullcrap. What they teach you in high school or what they teach you they teach you the same thing from elementary school, to middle school to high school. And then once you get to college, they teach you something different. And when you do go to college, the first thing they tell you is forget everything that you learned in elementary school. Forget everything you just learned for the last 18 years, except for math. And once you get to college, you're already behind on math. Is that not a true statement? They always tell you, forget what you learned in the first 18 years of your life. It's all wrong. So these kids are going to a Capitol building. These 15, 16, 17-year-olds are a bunch of children, went to the Capitol building, and now they're being smeared all over the media as if they did something wrong. And of course, some Native American, which is apparently an actor, which I don't know if he was hired or not. If you want to know where he's from, he is actually from. He was in a rap video, actually. If you want to know, he was in a rap video. So let's finish watching this and see what else.
Sandman says the rhetoric was startling. Because we were being loudly attacked and taunted in public, a student asked one of our teacher chaperones for permission to begin school spirit chants to counter the hateful things that were being shouted at our group. And they do. At one point, a student removes his shirt and the chants drown everything out. 2 minutes later, you hear a drum beat. That is Nathan Phillips, an Omaha tribe elder.
Okay, now I'm going to pause it right there. So, where were the students at before? They were over here by the steps. Who was over there? The Hebrew people. Who's over there now? The Native American people who walked over there to, I'm going to say, cause a problem. They were there to cause a problem. They walked over there because they had MAGA hats on, which the kids shouldn't have been wearing in the first place because, like I said, kids don't have a political affiliation and they don't know what the government is until they actually start to learn about the real government, in my opinion. Because everything you're taught in school is just bullcrap.
You hear a drum beat. That is Nathan Phillips, an Omaha tribe elder and another drummer. Phillips says it was their attempt to thwart potential violence. The kids danced to it. They began.
It was his attempt to thwart potential violence. a bunch of high school kids with their teachers in Washington, D.C. on a school trip were going to become violent. Look on the screen. Phillips. I'm a Vietnam veteran and I know that mentality. He knows the mentality of a bunch of school kids on a field trip. 15, 16, 17-year-olds.
Again, chanting along.
I realized I had put myself in a really dangerous situation, you know.
He had put himself in a really dangerous situation with a bunch of high school kids. That's what he did. That's what he said. He put himself there. So, you know, CNN and ABC and CBS, they're all taking this, blowing this out of proportion. They're telling the truth on what's happening, except for they're making it seem like the kids are doing it. Kids on a field trip were standing there. They were approached. They didn't do anything. Yes, they chanted along. Yes, they had hats on. That's the only thing I could see that they did wrong. That probably wasn't wrong for them to chant. I know they were mocking the guy, but the guy came up to them. However, I was taught something different growing up. I was taught to respect my elders and not to mock my elders, and that's the way I was taught. Kids these days do not show any respect for their elders whatsoever, and they're taught that by millennial parents. You have millennial parents who say that you're teaching their kids that they're equal to somebody who's 80 years old, 50 years old, 40 years old. They're equal, and they're not. I doubt there's any kids, that are going to watch this, but I'm going to tell you now that you are not equal to an adult. When an adult tells you something, if that adult has any sense, if what the adult tells you is not making sense, that's different. Excuse me. But if what an adult is telling you does make sense and isn't disrespectful, then you listen to them. I mean, the teachers were standing right there with him as the video reports. But for some reason, the media is reporting it as something different. And then you have the liberal citizens or the Democrat citizens, you can just about point out what political affiliation somebody is, just like how you think that I may sound Republican. And I'm actually a registered Democrat, but I also take views from both sides. And that's how it should be. However, just because you agree more with, just say I agree more with Donald Trump over Obama. Just because I agree more with one over the other doesn't mean that I'm Republican. Or if I was agree with Obama, just if I agree with Obama, that doesn't make me Democratic or a Democrat. If one of them's views right over the other, then that's who I'm going to agree with. I'm not going to agree with you just because you're a Republican. I'm not going to agree with you just because I'm a congressman of a all Republican state. I'm not going to agree with you because I'm having a lot of problems here, buddy. I'm not going to agree with you just because you're I'm registered as this political, under this political signage or under this political view, and oh well, you're Republican, so I'm gonna agree with everything you say, and that's all that matters. You could still be right or wrong, and no matter what political affiliation you are. When they first made the Constitution, they had an idea that the citizens would be in control of the government, and that's what it says. And I found that to be false. When the Constitution was created, if you read the Federalist Papers on Hamilton and James Madison, what they wrote, the government has been set up for the people not to have a say-so. It makes you believe you have a say-so, but you don't. And I'll prove it with this one statement or this one question. If we held an election and citizens couldn't vote for the president, and citizens couldn't vote, could there still be a president? Could we still elect a president? The answer is yes, could. Because our votes are not counted during a presidential election. Electoral votes are counted during a presidential election. And those electoral voters are chosen not at random. They are picked. They are hand-picked by the GOP, which their main offices, their headquarters. They're picked by the DNC, their people. They're also, and really, I don't know where it goes past that, but more than likely, the government has a say-so over who is picked. And you're not allowed to know who they are. I think only one person out of this whole time has come out and said he's an electoral voter. And he wore a khaki shirt. He was a white guy, wore a khaki shirt, he basically looked like an rich Ivy League young kid. That's what he looked like. I remember he was wearing khaki shorts, plaid shirt. He was wearing some Dockers on. His hair was all combed over. He basically looked like he was from Harvard or Yale. That's what he looked like. And that was several years ago. That was about, I don't know, like 10 years ago. Maybe right before Obama's election or something like that. So all this crap that's going on with this video, the mainstream media is...
Here's a group of people who were angry at somebody else, and I put myself in front of that.
Phillips, a Vietnam veteran, walks around. Other students avoid him.
And he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have went over there.
Who has now gone viral. In his statement, the student says he was the one trying to...
And, hold on.
...to de-escalate the situation, not Phillips. I believe that by remaining motionless and calm, I was helping to defuse the situation. I realized everyone had cameras and that perhaps a group of adults was trying to provoke a group of teenagers into a larger conflict. Sandman has every opportunity to move back. So does Phillips. Neither do. While they faced off...
Exactly. They came to him. And just like you saw on the video, young kids were being cussed at and were being yelled at and cussed at and told they were pieces of crap. They were incested, and They were all told all that crap. And they were done wrong, yet the high school students were done wrong, yet the media is covering it as if they did something wrong by just standing there. And that's how it's being taken. The Democratic people in the United Citizens and the liberal citizens are all looking at it that way. And just like I said, it goes back to Twitter. How Twitter has made a big difference on media, how people view the media, and what media and how it's viewed, or how it's looked at. What opinion can they take from it? And if you haven't noticed, liberal people always point out the bad. Now, as far as I know, you can tell me I'm wrong, but as far as I know, most liberal people were activists back in my day. They were activists. They wanted peace. They wanted civil rights. They wanted what was right for humanity, and they wanted what was right for citizens. Now, it's like they are always looking for a fight. Always. And Twitter and social media has made that a problem.
The kids face more taunting from the Hebrew Israelite group.
This is a bunch of future school shooters.
That's right.
A bunch of future school shooters. A bunch of future school shooters. So you got the Israelite people being racist. You got a Native American being discriminatory against people. I'm a veteran. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I know that mentality. Well, evidently he doesn't. He's trying to make a point. He's trying to make a point with children who don't know who are children. It'd be different if it was an adult. And that's where that's where that crap comes in, where I said it's wrong for parents to teach their children that they are equals. Everybody is viewing this video as those kids being equal. Nothing's being said about the age of the children. How come those children are being talked to that way? Why are they being talked to that way? Everybody is viewing those kids as adults, and that's wrong. That's what's wrong. The children did absolutely nothing except go to the Capitol and stand there and didn't know what to do. The teachers probably, as a matter of fact, the teachers should have made them leave. Because and to be honest, that was not a safe environment for them. It wasn't. They should have known better. I mean, rallies these days, every one of them is violent. You have the people, you have one activist against the other activist, and they're all violent with each other every time. Why would you go? It was a mistake to even go. It was a mistake to take children there. They should have went on a day where there wasn't a rally. And to have a rally, by the way, to have a rally on Capitol, on property, on federal property, you have to actually go and get a authorization and a permit to have a rally. You have to. I looked that up. By law, you have to have written authorization to have a rally. They can't deny you. They can't deny you the permit to have a rally, because that's denying freedom of speech. So they give everybody one.
While Phillips maintains he felt the kids were mocking him and being rude, Sandman says it was the adults using hateful words and trying to provoke the kids.
So you got a bunch of kids being cussed at and abused by other adults, and then you got another adult that walked up in the kids' faces and started beating a drum. The children were clearly being attacked by a bunch of adults. Clearly. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at the video. If there's one single person that says that the kids did something wrong to bring this on themselves, you're wrong. I'll tell you that. You're wrong. Completely
Not
wrong.
the other way around. After seeing the initial viral video, the diocese that oversees the Covington Catholic High School in Kentucky condemned the students' behavior towards Native Americans, saying they would also investigate.
Why? Why did they condemn their behavior? They didn't do anything wrong. Condemn their behavior for what? Everybody went to them because they had MAGA hats on. Because they had MAGA hats on, everybody went to them. They were attacked because they had hats on representing Trump. Like I said, they shouldn't have had them on. If I was a parent, my kid wouldn't have had a MAGA hat on. Even if there was a Democratic president, I wouldn't, and he had a hat, I wouldn't let him wear that one either.
The mayor of their city also condemned them. But now Congressman Thomas Massey, who represents their district, is praising them, tweeting in.
And they're being shown a partial piece of video. That's what they're being shown. They're not being shown full videos of what happened. They're being shown partial videos, edited videos. And that's wrong. That is freaking wrong. That is the media.
In the face of racist and homosexual slurs, the young boys refused to reciprocate or disrespect anyone, even when taunted by homophobic bigots, which was obviously bewildering to them. They insulted no one. The congressman said it was his honor to represent them.
And, of course, the media is blowing all this out of proportion, and they're twisting it. Just like I said, the media actually employs...
My entire career has been focused on keeping people...
The media actually employs, and I found this out, the media actually employs what are called media psychologists. So, media... Look at this. I just type media, PSY, media psychology, media psychologist, media psychology journal, media psychology jobs, media psychos, media psychology degree, media psychology graduate programs. Now, how this came about was it was actually put in I can't remember, I'll read it here. So media psychology is the branch of psychology that focuses on the interaction of human behavior and media and technology. Media psychology is not restricted to mass media or media contact. It includes all forms of mediated communication and media technology related behaviors such as use, design, impact, and sharing behaviors. This branch is a relatively new field of study because of the advancement of technology. It uses various methods of critical analysis and investigation to develop a working model of a user's perception on media experience. These methods are used for society as a whole and on an individual basis. Media psychologists are able to perform activities that include consulting, design, and production in various media like television, video games, films, and news broadcasting. Media psychologists are not considered to be those who are featured in media, such as counselors, psychotherapists, clinicians, rather than those who research, work, or contribute to the field. What they mean by contribute to the field is they are the people that make you say, I want to buy that, or the people that make you want to go somewhere or buy a car. They make you believe that they like there's certain words that can be, if I say a tornado come through Illinois, that's not that great of a headline. But if you add something in, so they would know words to grab a human being's attention. So what if I said a tornado rips through downtown so and so and rips down a black man's house or an Asian man's house, or it didn't matter who it was, or an Indian's house. It don't matter. They use certain words in order to make you, to change your social, I guess it changes your perception on what you're reading. It targets your mind into thinking that it's something is not what it is. And psychologists are they're basically using medicine against you. Really, they are. They're hiring doctors who are supposed to protect you, and they are hiring those doctors and saying, "Hey, how do I manipulate these people?" That's what they're doing. So, I mean, what do y'all think about all this? So, I've showed you all the video of, and you know, I didn't have a view on the video beforehand, but after watching it, my only view out of it, because I didn't see the thing about the Israelites, and I didn't actually, when I had a point of view, any kind of point of view, I just thought that the kids shouldn't have had the MAGA hats on, and I thought that the chants they were doing, they were being disrespectful. That's what I thought. And to me, the parents are still to blame for all this happening. And the school is still to blame for it, because they should have known better. Once they realized it was a hostile environment for those kids to be in, they should have taken them out. That's what my opinion is. But watching the rest of the video, as far as blame goes, as far as if that without the parents, as far as the kids themselves being in that environment or being there, whether they should have been there or not, about what happened, they were heavily criticized. They were discriminated against. They were disrespected by adults who are supposed to be looking after them. All adults are supposed to look after children, no matter whether they're yours or not. So, everybody, if you like the video, comment, like, and subscribe. And I hope you all enjoyed this one. I haven't been live for a while, so I hope you all liked it. And I'll probably be back tomorrow video. I got all kinds of stuff I want to talk about. I wish I had more people that I could interact with. So, all right. Peace out, everybody.